Welcome to Black Spring. By now, many of you have heard the name Bill Gates, and even more lately, in the midst of the COVID 19 and his philanthropic work in Africa. You might also find his global interest and involvements here mildly interesting. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn.
With the field of biometric identity. A decade ago, the government of India began what has been called the largest social experiment on Earth, enrolling over 1 billion people in the largest biometric identification database ever constructed. The project, involving iris scanning and fingerprinting the entirety of the Indian population, recording their biometric details in a centralized database, and issuing them a 12-digit identity number that could be used to prove residence and access government services, all within the span of a few years, presented an incredible societal, legal, and technological challenge. It's no surprise, then, that the person who was brought in as the chief architect of the Aadhaar project when it was launched, Nandan Nilekani, co-founder of Indian multinational Infosys, is also a longtime friend of Bill Gates and a partner with Bill and Melinda Gates on a philanthropic venture called Co-Impact, which supports initiatives to address major social challenges at scale. Nilekani's involvement in Aadhaar has even made him one of Gates's heroes, featured in slick video promotions produced by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
My friend Nandan Nilekani is one of India's best-known entrepreneurs. He led the creation of the world's largest biometric ID system. Now, he's working to promote his platform to improve the lives of the world's poorest people.
There are more than 1 billion people around the world who don't have any kind of ID. You can't do anything in life without an ID because people are mobile, they're migrant, and wherever they go, whether they want a job or whether they want to board a train or whether they want to get a bank account or get a mobile connection, if the person has no way of proving who they are, then they just won't get access to those services. So the challenge we had was, how do we give 1 billion people, many of whom don't have birth certificates, how do we give them an ID?
And Gates has personally praised the Aadhaar scheme as a huge asset for India.
Well, Aadhaar is a huge asset for India. It was designed very well. The fact that you can make digital payments so easily, you can open a bank account. India is a leader in that. Our foundation, worked with the Reserve Bank. Nandan Nilekani and a group of people that he pulled together did a great job.
But Gates is not merely an arm's-length admirer of the Aadhaar experiment. He is not only personally connected to its chief architect, he is also connected to one of the key companies that spearheaded the technology that underlies the project's biometric database. The company that provides the iris recognition technology at the core of the Aadhaar system, IDEMIA, also provides facial recognition systems for the Chinese government and is currently developing digital driver's licenses for use in the United States. IDEMIA even created the Cushy Baby identification necklaces with embedded microchips that Gavi CEO Seth Berkley touted in his Nature article. Unsurprisingly, the company received support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation through its involvement in the GSMA Inclusive Tech Lab. And now, Gates is funding a scheme to retool Aadhaar for a global rollout. In 2014, the World Bank created a multi-sector working group to launch the Identification for Development Initiative, or ID4D, which aims to support progress toward identification systems using 21st century solutions. The World Bank cites Goal 16.9 of the UN Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, vowing to provide legal identity for all, including birth registration, in the next 10 years, as the basis for its initiative. But ID4D was little more than a pipe dream until 2016, when the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation provided catalytic contributions to launch the ID4D Multi-Donor Trust Fund, which enticed the UK, French, and Australian governments, along with the OMIR network, into a partnership aiming to shape global approaches and a shared vision on identification. Unsurprisingly, this World Bank ID4D initiative includes Nandan Nilekani, Gates' partner and the chief architect of Aadhaar, on its advisory council, and Gates has said that he is funding the World Bank to take this Aadhaar approach to other countries. This headlong rush to capture the biometric details and assign digital identification to every person on Earth is sold to the public under the guise of financial inclusion. The poorest people on the planet have trouble accessing financial services and receiving government aid because they don't have official government identification papers. In this formulation, being issued a government ID, having one's biometric details registered, tracked, and databased by the government, is a human right that must be secured. It should be no surprise by this point that this human right also has direct benefits for big business and for the entities that are looking to exert greater control over the human population. Gates provided insight into the real purpose of this.
I'd like to thank everyone for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Now here, it looks like Gates and his friends are working together under the auspices of humanity, the UN agenda, and health to expand accessibility, identity via a biometric World Wide Web. Sounds like a novel idea or very humanitarian idea to give to the poor, serve the poor. Well, also, apparently, he is co-piloting the infrastructure in India amongst its population. And the plan is ultimately to bring the world under this digital grid. Now, as challenging as that is, the goal would require all or most sectors around the world, from philanthropists, financiers, governments, institutions, to harness all their resources to streamline such an inclusion. But the one thing that's concerning is the risk of one man having an all-seeing access and the power for such an imposition. And in the States, this would easily be a violation of the Fourth Amendment. So, successful implementation of this plan would make Gates or any affiliate a sustainability superpower or master of the universe. So, let me know what you think. Can you see America rebelling against such an imposition? What is the intent? Does Gates have a dominant role in global sustainability? And once again, I'd like to thank you for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. If you could so kindly like, unlike, if you dare to throw caution to the wind, share, or even subscribe to stay informed and abreast of what's happening on the Black Spring with Autumn channel. I'd like to thank you so much again for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn.